Hello and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Today's topic is one we've heard from quite a few learners, something that sounds surprising at first, but actually makes a lot of sense once you explore it. Why do I feel more confident when I speak English?
Yeah, it's such an interesting shift, isn't it? Because for most people, learning a second language can feel intimidating. But then suddenly, they find that when they speak English, they are bolder, they speak up more, they even joke around in ways they never used to.
It almost feels backwards, doesn't it? Like, you'd expect to feel shy or unsure in a second language. But for some people, English becomes this space where they feel free, freer, even, than in their native tongue.
And I think a big part of that comes down to identity. When you're speaking English, you're stepping outside of your usual role, the way people have always seen you, the way you've always seen yourself. It's like you get to press a soft reset button.
Exactly. You're not carrying the same social expectations. You're not locked into the same patterns. You might feel like you have more space to experiment, to express yourself without feeling judged.
And sometimes, it's easier to say certain things in English. Not just because of the vocabulary, but because emotionally, it feels a bit more distant. You can talk about things more openly, because the words don't carry the same weight.
It's like emotional distance creates emotional safety. And that safety makes room for confidence. You're not overthinking every little thing, you're just letting the words come, in a different rhythm, in a slightly different voice.
That voice can feel empowering. Even if your English isn't perfect, it might be clearer. You might be more direct. More playful. More willing to take up space.
And I think that surprises people, especially those who feel more reserved in their first language. Suddenly in English, they are cracking jokes, starting conversations, leading group discussions. And they are thinking, where did this version of me come from?
It's brilliant, isn't it? And what's even more interesting is that this version of you, the one who shows up in English, has always been there. It's not fake. It's not something you've made up. It's just that English gives it permission to come out.
Right, like the language itself becomes a kind of doorway. And through that doorway, you find yourself being a bit more confident, a bit more open, a bit more bold, even.
And sometimes, it's because you're not carrying your usual history with you. You're not speaking as the shy student, or the quiet friend, or the person who was always told not to speak too much. You're speaking as a learner, yes, but also as a new version of you.
And when you're learning English, no one expects you to be perfect. That in itself takes off pressure. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be in progress. And ironically, that makes people feel more free to express themselves.
Exactly. Because sometimes we're more confident when we know we're not being measured so harshly. You say something in English and someone says, "Oh, your English is really good." And that gives you a little boost. It reinforces that your voice matters, even when it's not flawless.
And confidence grows from that. Not just the praise, but the act of speaking. Every time you express a thought, even if it's a bit messy, you're proving to yourself that your ideas are worth sharing, in any language.
That can change how you walk into a room. How you handle silence. How you hold your own in a conversation. Even when your English is still developing, your self-trust starts to grow.
It's a quiet shift, but a powerful one. Because it doesn't just stay in your English life, it starts to move into other parts of who you are. That little confidence you gained from speaking English starts showing up everywhere else, too.
You might take more risks. Share more of your opinions. Speak up when you'd usually stay silent. Not because you've become someone else, but because you've discovered another part of yourself through English.
And that discovery is powerful. Because once you've felt it, once you've had even one moment where you surprised yourself in English, it stays with you. It becomes part of your story, part of your identity.
And it makes you realize that confidence isn't about knowing every word, or getting every sentence right. It's about showing up, even when you're unsure. It's about being willing to be seen, just as you are, and trusting that it's enough.
And in English, sometimes that trust is easier to find. Because you're not following old patterns. You're not weighed down by who you think you're supposed to be. You're just present. In the moment. Figuring it out as you go.
Which, let's be honest, is what most people are doing in any language. But as a learner, you become so much more aware of that process. You start to see communication not as perfection, but as connection.
Exactly. And when connection becomes your focus, not sounding perfect, not impressing anyone, that's when confidence really starts to grow. Because you're not trying to perform. You're just being real.
And sometimes English helps you be real in ways you didn't expect. Because you're not speaking in automatic mode. You're choosing your words more consciously. You're thinking about what matters. That makes your communication more intentional.
And strangely, that intentionality can feel empowering. You know you've worked for every word, every sentence. So when you say something, it carries weight, even if it's simple. It's yours.
That ownership is huge. Especially for people who've grown up feeling like their voices didn't matter, or weren't heard. English becomes a way to reclaim space, to say, I have something to say, and I'm not afraid to try.
And the thing is, once you've felt that, even once, it's hard to unfeel it. That tiny shift where you realize, I can speak. I do have a voice. It stays with you. It gives you something to build on.
Even on the days when your words don't come out smoothly. Even when you feel stuck or tired. That inner confidence might go quiet for a bit, but it doesn't disappear. It's already part of you now.
And often, it grows in the quiet moments, not just when you're talking, but when you're listening, when you're learning, when you're sitting with a language that once scared you and now feels like a familiar companion.
I love that. Because English can feel like a mountain at first. But one day you look up, and you realize you're no longer at the bottom. You've already climbed so far, and you didn't even notice, because you were too busy taking one small step at a time.
And maybe confidence in English isn't about reaching the top of the mountain, maybe it's just about realizing you're already climbing. That you're already in motion, already becoming the kind of speaker you once admired.
And that climb doesn't need to be fast. It just needs to be yours. Honest. Gentle. Based on who you are and what matters to you. That's the kind of confidence that lasts, the kind that isn't shaken by a grammar mistake or a forgotten word.
Because deep down, you start to realize, confidence isn't in the language. It's in you. The English is just the tool. The real growth, that's happening inside.
And once you feel that, it changes how you approach everything, not just speaking, but living. You start to carry yourself differently. You start to believe, I belong in this conversation. I can hold space here.
And you do. You absolutely do. English doesn't give you that worth, it just helps you uncover the part of you that always had it.
So if you've ever found yourself thinking, why do I feel more confident in English? Maybe it's because English is giving you space to grow. To show up. To speak without carrying the old weight of who you thought you had to be.
And maybe that version of you, the one who's learning, and trying, and still showing up, is closer to your real self than you ever realized.
Thanks for spending this time with us today. Wherever you are on your journey, we hope you're proud of how far you've come, and we hope you keep discovering even more of what's already within you.
We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, take care.